almost arm
Nice.
triangle. Um, I was just like, I was rewatching the finishing sequence, and I see Juliana Pena like
Yeah.
wasting so much energy just trying to stay like a little bit upright,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what is she using here to like do that? Because everything else is controlled, and then it was literally just her core, and then instead of
Yeah.
just going to your back, scooching more towards the cage, and then protecting like that whole left side, which is Kayla's attacking. She I was really happy that Kayla came out in open stance too,
Yeah.
because Juliana Pena has no idea how to fight a fighter like that, which is hilarious. But we'll save that all that.
Mhm.
Oh well, that's what Amanda Nunes did in the rematch,
Yes.
and that's all she fucking has, bro. I'll rewatch that fight, bro. I literally think Juliana Pena maybe
Mhm.
landed one left hook, maybe one punch.
Welcome to the Fight IQ podcast. Today we're looking back at UFC 316 O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Man, that was a good card. A lot of great fights on this one. We want to start at the top and work our way down. So, talking a little bit about our main event. Obviously, Merab gets it done via submission. His first finish in like 4 years. Uh, did Sean O'Malley look worse?
Um,
Maybe.
I thought Sean O'Malley looked pretty good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Marab just kind of started putting a lot more emphasis on doing damage and just looking for finishes this time
Yeah.
around. Um, first two rounds were competitive, and I saw Sean O'Malley doing a lot of the right things, starting off
Mm-hmm.
with the front kick early, defending the takedowns. He was landing some really good shots,
Mm-hmm.
like a night and day difference from the first fight. And then, towards the end of the round, Marab always likes to finish the round with those takedowns and grappling
Yep.
exchanges. So, at the end of the first and the second round, Marab really was dominating Sean O'Malley before finding the finish in the third. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then even in that one, it was pretty insane to just see him like just manhandle Sean O'Malley at that
Yeah.
third round, and Sean O'Malley on the way of working back up, just got a little bit careless, left his neck in there too long. Rob got a grip and then a weird, funky submission. I don't know if it was like a north south choke or if it was like some weird guillotine from that position,
Mm-hmm.
but it was definitely a weird one that you don't see too often. So the fact that Marab just had that in the deck and you can see him setting it up, and
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley just had no idea it was coming. It's a sneaky little submission.
Yeah, it was a weird one. I was watching it, and initially it looked like it wasn't really gonna do anything. It looked like it was one of those positions, like, sort of a headlock where it's like it sucks. It's not great to be there, but it's not gonna finish you. You're not gonna tap to it.
And then you
Um,
saw him drop the weight.
yeah, and then he
Yeah, then he
started to kind
drops
of
the
drop his
switch.
shoulder down. Part of me thought it might have been like an Ezekiel. I couldn't see where his other forearm was, but I think it was more of like shoulder pressure, and it looks like it was just a fucking hard squeeze.
Hmm.
I think Marab was just kind of in that position, had some control of his head, neck, and figured, at least let me finish the round here, making it really terrible. And I think he just squeezed hard enough to tap.
Yeah, dude, he is freakishly strong. Like it's
He seems wildly strong.
one of those things that a lot of people mention is obviously his cardio and how he has endless cardio, but he's also insanely strong.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to get quick too, like with his striking.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're already thinking about the grappling, like because he does have a lot of rematches coming up, you
Yeah.
know, and so these are going to be people that think they can deal with his grappling now because they felt it and they kind of may have ideas to work around it. Now he's going to play on that and start setting up his striking, and
Yep.
it's going to be a lot more successful. Like this time around, Sean O'Malley was looking to defend the takedowns, and he was getting punched a lot more than he was in the first fight.
Yeah.
Um, and it seems like the next fight for Marab is going to be Corey Sandhagen. It's
Yep.
going to be interesting to see if Corey Sandhagen is able to make adjustments from the Umar fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like Corey Sandhagen, being friends with Ryan Hall, is actually going to try and work on submissions off his back.
Definitely.
I feel like instead of, just laying there and kind of getting smudge grappled, he's going to have like a game plan to go in there and try and submit Marab with like leg lock entanglements
Yeah.
because he's super crafty on the ground. Sandhagen, like just as much as he is on the feet.
Yep. And that's going to be the interesting thing is, Marab has obviously fought a couple tall guys at this point, Sean O'Malley being two of the two. Um, And it's a different kind of lanky, I think, when you're dealing with Corey Sandhagen, just because Corey moves in a little bit different way. His striking is a little different. He's not a sniper in the same way that I think Sean O'Malley is. He's a little bit more, it's that stance switch kind of TJ Dillashaw sort of style. It's the BMT system a little bit. Um, but Corey's also got, I think, I don't know, maybe it's not so much at this point, an underrated ground game. Like he's been pretty significantly beneficial to be in those positions, obviously, with his win over Figueiredo coming out of that leg entanglement. He gave TJ Dillashaw some problems on the ground as well. I believe he fucked
Mhm.
up his shoulder or his knee or something in that fight as well.
I was going to say the
Um,
same thing.
yeah, so Corey's got the ability to be dangerous on the ground. It's just whether or not he can handle that kind of heavy wrestling pressure. And I think having fought Umar, he's seen a little bit of what that's going to feel like. And it's not that Corey hasn't fought wrestlers before. I actually kind of like Corey for that matchup.
Yeah, it's just one of those fights where he does have the skill set to do well
Mm-hmm.
against Marab. Um, I just see what I see Corey Sandhagen's mindset being is like, all right, so he's going to take all of the lessons he learned against his loss from Umar,
Yeah,
and he's going to take them into the Marab fight. And then even in his last fight, his striking style changed just a little bit with his footwork. He instead of being real floaty, he's very planted and almost like how Stylebender strikes. Like you don't see Stylebender doing that like float around the octagon using a lot of like locomotion, side
yeah,
to side movements. Stylebender's always planted, and then when he needs to move, he'll take a step. It's very very high level footwork, and
yeah,
Corey Sandhagen is starting to go into that direction now, rather than just like floating around the octagon, playing the outside, floating, throwing a little
mm-hmm.
peppery jabs. It's because everything you do when you're planted like that is going to have significantly more power.
Yeah,
And it also leaves you in a lot more positions if you're able to like kind of work with those steps to be defensively sound and just always dangerous. Because when you're floating around, when both feet aren't planted on the octagon, you're not going to have as much power. You're not going to be able to take shots as well,
mm-hmm.
and that's where Corey Sandhagen gets dropped. Versus Peter Yan. As he's moving around, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so I feel like Sandhagen's making all the right adjustments. He has a
Yeah,
lot of time off in between fights. Seems like he's always trying to get a fight, and people don't want to fight him.
yeah.
But I think it's going to be a sick fight.
I think so too. Working down the card, we had the women's bantamweight title fight. Juliana Pena lost the belt to Kayla Harrison, also via submission. I mean, Juliana Pena is just not good, bro. It was pretty obvious in this fight that Kayla Harrison was a noticeably better fighter. Obviously, got that last minute like Kimura lock at the end of the second round. That looked nasty. That shit looked fucking rough.
Yeah, especially with how strong Kayla looks, just how
Yeah.
quickly she like yanked it. It was like she was
Mm-hmm.
like fighting for an arm triangle, and then 3 seconds later, she's like, "All right, I'm just gonna fucking blast this Kimura real quick."
Yep.
Steps, she takes a step over her head and then just twists like real quick. It
Yep.
was in literally a couple seconds. Um, it was just a great performance by Kayla Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah. Just overall, really dominant. It seems like Amanda Nunes is back, so we're going to probably see Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I think that's a great fight as well. I think it's probably, I guess, a definitive answer for the women's bantamweight on who is probably the best in the world in that weight class. Um,
Mhm.
and maybe, I don't know. Where does it go from here, right? Do we get more women's bantamweight, or is this kind of nearing the end of what's possible here?
Yeah, man, it's this is all the UFC's fault. Honestly, you
Yeah.
can tell that they just really haven't given a shit about women's bantamweight since Amanda left. Like,
Hmm.
just literally letting Juliana Pena become champion in itself is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because she's not the most skilled person in that weight class. She got fucking submitted by Jermaine Durandamine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of fighter we're dealing with here. She does have like that win over Amanda Nunes, but if you guys remember, Amanda Nunes had COVID going into that fight, and I think that that played a massive amount of like it was a massive factor in that fight because she
Yeah.
just gassed out after the first round. Um, so I just feel like they haven't been really working on contenders. The only
No.
person really like surging up the rankings, and I can't even say surging because it's just like they haven't fought in a while. But it's like Aline Perez is like the
Yeah.
only person that's really like coming up the division just on a consistent win streak, putting on good
Hmm.
performances. Like they were trying to get the Meishi Sashon angle going, but she's
Yep.
very like hit or miss, always misses weight, not the best fighter. And then, fucking that's just kind of it. It's just like the division
Yeah.
falls off a cliff after Kayla Harrison and Amanda
Yeah.
Nunes. But I like I said, I just thought that Juliana Pena really just she got exposed in this fight for her lack of skill set.
Yeah.
I really don't think she landed more than like one or two punches on Kayla Harrison the whole fight.
Yeah.
On the feet, maybe she got some ground and pound ones in. She fucking threw those illegal up kicks from the in the
Mm-hmm.
first round there, got the point taken away. Down 2 rounds going into the second, it's
Brutal.
just like just getting ran through, dude. And
Yeah.
she was even just being super inefficient with her energy in a lot of the grappling positions as well.
Yeah.
Like she was just picking all of the wrong battles. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was terrible. She was circling towards Kayla Harrison's power.
Yeah.
Like everything, like you're watching, it's just like this is not what you do. Her striking looks like fucking dog shit, bro.
Yeah.
And even Kayla Harrison not being the best striker and being known for her striking, you can still
Mm-hmm.
see that she keeps her hands up. She has a very athletic stance. She's very definitive in like where she's moving. She's controlling the octagon well. She moves well.
Mm-hmm.
And with Juliana Pena, she can only circle towards one way.
Yeah.
I didn't see her circle to the left not one time, bro.
Yeah.
And she just keeps circling that one way, dipping her head in the same direction. I was like, dude, if there's like anyone that's relatively good at striking, they're front kicking your face off. Like, I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised that she hasn't been like viciously KO'd before.
Yeah. That's
But
fair.
like, Amanda Nunes sure did try. But the
Yeah.
fact that Kayla Harrison did finish her because she's a cockroach and she can survive taking lots of damage,
Yeah.
is a big impressive feat in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like with being able to finish Pena as easily as she did, like Nunes, like she
Yeah.
ran through her in the second fight, but she wasn't able to finish her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one to see. I mean, I think Kayla Harrison is just kind of at her peak right now, which is perfect timing. Won the title. I really think she's going to be pretty unstoppable at this point.
mhm.
Because she does have a lot of the same attributes that made Amanda Nunes so successful. She's big, she's muscular, she has a pretty strong skill set. I think Amanda Nunes probably has better striking than Kayla Harrison does. I think that's pretty easy to say.
Mhm.
Um, but Kayla Harrison, being the judo practitioner that she is, multiple time Olympic gold medalist in judo, gives her an advantage in a lot of those clinch sort of situations, which are happening all the time in women's MMA. I feel like clinches are almost a guarantee. So if you
Yeah,
happen to have the ability to take a clinch and do something else with it that they're not expecting, it gives you an upper hand almost immediately. So I think it's going to be a fun fight to see. It's whether or not Amanda Nunes can make it a striking fight, and if that actually is going to be a problem for Kayla.
yeah. I think one of the major factors is going to be how strong Amanda Nunes is on
Mm-hmm.
reversing those clinch positions. Because is really good at forcing them. She can
Yeah.
strike into the clinch very well, and then when she gets you in the clinch, she really is one of the best in the world at just picking what technique she wants to use to get you down to the ground. I know, like it all kind of looks the same to the untrained eye, but like she's working inside trips, outside trips, she's working hip throws, and then her opponent ain't giving her that, she's like kneeing the thighs to open up stuff, and then shooting for takedowns. So she'll
Yeah.
even throw some wrestling in there too. Very, very high level stuff for women's MMA. And if the one of the main factors I see is going to play into that Amanda Nunes fight is if she can reverse the position and
Mm.
get Kayla Harrison against the fence and then break off and start striking. Because
Yeah.
a lot of Amanda Nunes's finishes come when she's striking in your back is against the cage, notably like the Ronda Rousey and the Cyborg fight. Like
Mm-hmm.
once she has you against the wall where you can't just run back, she's so good at finding the KOs.
Yeah.
So that might be an interesting sequence that I want to see play out is if, Amanda Nunes is able to reverse position from Kayla and then just start lighting her up, maybe get a
Yeah.
finish or see what happens there.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Moving down, middleweight bout. Super fun fight as well. Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum. Joe Pyfer got it done. I don't know that we expected it to go to decision. I thought Joe Pyfer was going to be able to finish him in there, and there looked like there were a couple moments where it was really close. I think both in the first and second round managed to land a solid knockdown. But man, Kelvin Gastelum's tough. Like that's one thing that he's always had, even looking back at his past fights, he's always been very durable, and I think that's held up with his career is he's still able to kind of manage those shots and stay in the fight even when it looks like he's on his way
Yeah, he has that Minecraft villager blockhead, you know what I'm saying?
out.
And dude, just people cannot do anything about it. Like think of all the
No.
people that Kelvin Gastelum has lost to,
Yeah.
Robert Whitaker, um, fucking Darren Till, now
Israel
Joe Pyfer,
Adesanya.
Israel Adesanya, and it with a cumulative damage
Yeah.
Israel was able to show that chinks in his armor as far as like how much damage he could take.
Yeah.
Like you could drop Kelvin Gastelum and hit him with the most insane shots from the biggest power punchers like Darren Till and
Yeah.
Joe Piper, and he'll just fucking just no sell it, bro. Like he
Yep.
got head kicks flush, no hands.
Yep.
The only thing he did to like mitigate any damage was just like sort of leaning away from it. Like
Yeah.
that's it. But you still see the fucking shin of Joe Piper connect on the side of his whole side of his face, and he didn't take a knee. He didn't drop. He just
Nothing.
fucking kept moving. It was the rear hook that we kind of called in the preview that ended
Mm-hmm.
up sitting him down a few times. Like he's going to hit him
Yeah.
with like a big right hook. Or if they're in open stance, I feel like it's going to be like that rear hook. I feel like I don't know why I see that landing on Kelvin. And I think Joe Piper just fell in love with the heavy hands, and he wanted to be the first person, to really finish Kelvin Gastelum with the strikes.
Yeah.
Um, Sean Brady is, leg locked him, I think, and got a finish there. But I don't think Kelvin has been like knocked out or TKO'd.
No, I think you have to
Not that
like
I can
choke him
think of.
out or break his arm.
Not that comes to the top of my head. Like
Yeah.
certainly Robert Whitaker and nobody else at the top of the division is like beating his ass like that.
Yeah.
So Joe Piper really just put on a good performance. I thought he did more than enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me excited. He's a really good prospect. I feel like he has good grappling, dangerous striking,
Mm-hmm.
and just did a lot of right things. Stayed disciplined in there.
Yeah.
Didn't blow out his gas tank, nothing like that. So
Yeah. It's interesting. He just, I'd like to see Joe Piper throw some combos. I'd
yeah.
love to see Joe Piper just like set some stuff up sometimes.
Mhm.
Like, I don't mind his approach. He's really kind of a counter striker. It seems like, that's what he wants to set up, or those big shots as you're coming in, and he can kind of take advantage of that. But every now and then it wouldn't hurt to just like throw it too. Just throw out a
Uh,
jab,
he was
start
throwing like
setting
a
up a body shot every now and
yeah.
then. But
He
like,
was throwing like a little jab rear hook to the body.
yeah,
But I think Kelvin Gastelum is just one of those people that's like especially after he takes like a bunch of damage,
yeah,
his like defense just goes up like crazy, and he's just so hard to get out of there.
dude,
Like,
summoning all the Doctor Strange portals out there, bro.
yeah, exactly, man. He's just like getting all the defense up.
Yep.
And now you can't really land clean shots out, like, because once as the fight goes on, Kelvin's
Mm-hmm.
always been like the type that takes less and less damage as the
Yeah.
fight goes on, and especially in this fight, like eventually, like Joe Piper was just like, all right, man, now it's like he's super hard to hit clean. And I'm a little just like this much slower. And he just finding a lot less success in that third round. That's why Kelvin was able to
Mhm.
get it. But at the
Yeah.
beginning of the fight, he was throwing, rear hooks to the body
Mm-hmm.
and looking really, really sharp in there. So Joe
Yeah.
Piper is going to be a problem. And I think he's a really interesting fighter at middleweight.
I think so too. And it
Hmm.
seems like he's got the ability to grapple. We didn't really see it in this fight, but we know that that's in his back pocket as well. So I do hope that he is as well rounded as it seems, and I think he can go pretty far in the middleweight division for sure, especially
I
after this win.
don't want to see him versus Shar Bullet, bro.
That's fun. I
It's a
like that.
fun one.
I
Mhm.
like that. I'll sacrifice Shar Bullet for that one, dude, for
Yeah,
sure.
a vicious KO from Joe Piper.
It might be. It might
Mhm.
be. I could see it for sure. We got to talk about it, man. Mario Batista versus Patchy Mix. Um, I'm done, dude. I'm done ever thinking that Bellator fighters can do it. We saw it with MVP, and that's kind of been it. Like I'm done, dude. I can't do it anymore. I'm never betting on him again. This is the receipt for that right now. Like
Mhm.
call me out on it if I start fucking picking Bellator fighters again, man. Because I had hope, but it's just time and time again they prove that they just really can't do it. It doesn't seem like they're there unless they're world class strikers, I guess, like an MVP. But world class even supposedly is apparently nothing.
It doesn't matter if you're one of the best grapplers at 135 if you never shoot a fucking takedown or you don't try
Dude,
to implement your
what the fuck
grappling.
was that?
I don't know, man. He just went in there and shit the fucking bed, bro. We all picked him, and I'm pissed off that like my picks went a little bit south because of that.
Ryan
Um,
didn't.
I think he'll do better this fight, and I think people will be like, Mario's all right.
oh yeah,
Ryan loves
fuck.
Mario Batista. I'll
I
I'll
did
hold
say
him on
that.
that. He got this one right.
I will say though that I did say that Mario Batista's speed would be a big problem for Patchy.
Yeah.
But dude, he wasn't moving his head, bro. Just standing there, just getting punched in the fucking face. And then even in the group chat, we were just like, "Yo, what the fuck was this game plan? Like,
Yeah,
what is going on? You know,
yeah,
like why isn't he moving his head? Why is he just taking clean right hands to the fucking straight to the face?
dude.
I'm surprised he didn't get KO'd." And then like it was just such a weird performance. And then like he shot like got the most bitch takedown I've ever seen in like
Hmm.
round three.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck was that, brother? Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, you're supposed to be a world champion down in Bellator. Like, you're representing Bellator. You just
yeah.
showed us that everybody that's going to come from there now is a fucking bozo.
Absolutely,
Um,
dude. Beat the most Dagestan Magomed. You know, the
yeah,
like the
Mago.
most,
Hmm.
but I just don't get it, bro. That was the weirdest performance to have. And especially since the whole lead up to this fight, on the embeddeds, in the press conferences, in the interviews, I'm gonna submit him and his guy that taught him jujitsu. It's like you gotta try then.
Yeah, it's like
You
I
gotta
don't know
fucking
what the game
try
plan was.
then. Why are you
Even,
hyping this up and then in the third round your corner's yelling at you to wrestle?
yeah, dude. I mean, from the end of the first round, I think they were trying to get him to grapple more. They're like, "Yo, man, you're getting fucking lit up on the feet. Like
Yeah.
Mario Batista's lighting you on fire right now." And you know, he did kind of have like some weird moments in the striking exchanges. And you know, Mario Batista, like when he wants to fight like super boring and safe, he's probably like one of the best in the world at it. Because in
Hmm.
that third round, he was using a lot of, you know, side to side movement and all that stuff. It's just like he's really good offensively,
Yeah.
but if he needs to fight like a cockroach, he totally will.
Yeah.
And ultimately, man, just he's gonna win a lot of fights. Like I think Mario Batista is actually gonna get to like the top five of bantamweight. Bantamweight has fallen.
Yep.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like
Dude.
it's about to start getting real weird if Marcus McGee like beats the shit out of Peter Yan, and we're just like, what are we doing? You
In
know?
the dark ages, man. We're
Marab's
entering a
champ,
dark
Sean
time.
O'Malley's out. You know, he's lost to the champ
Mhm.
twice.
Yeah.
You know, Umar's coming up.
We have to rely on our lone Ronin out there, dude, Corey, to come in and save the division.
Corey Sandhagen is literally
Please.
like the last hope of this division, which
He's
is
the last
hilarious to me.
samurai, dude.
He's the last samurai. Um, and I think he has a good chance.
Hmm.
But at the same time, dude, Murad's just been so dominant. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to see
Hey,
it because at this point too, it's I don't see him getting KO'd.
I can't seem to think that that's a possibility now. We've not
Yeah, it's
seen
like
it yet.
I don't see him getting slept. You know, I
No.
see him getting submitted or like something an injury happening rather
Corey
than
pops his knee like he did to Davidson.
yeah or like flying knee KO
Hmm.
maybe.
Hmm.
But I don't see Murad getting slumped like anytime soon, dude.
No,
Because
I don't
another
either.
thing that plays a massive factor into how much damage you can take is how in shape you are and how much cardio you have.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
if he has infinite cardio glitch, like he's gonna have like a massive amount of durability.
It's wild. It
But
really
yeah,
is.
man, I don't know what the fuck Patchy Mix was doing, bro.
Yeah.
Very pathetic performance, honestly. Like
Awful.
you let down
Awful.
all the boys, and Bellator, you know that's your champ, dude.
That's it
That's your
now.
champ.
That's the
And
best one you got.
PFL two, he went over to PFL and beat
Hmm.
Magomed. So um, well, I guess maybe we'll see. You know, I want to see him fight somebody like fucking maybe a Cody Garbrandt, Peyton
Yeah.
Talbot,
Hmm.
you know, something
Peyton
like that would be
Talbot.
cool. But other than that, fuck it.
Yeah. That was awful. Uh, on the other side of it, Kevin Holland seems to be back. Great performance from him. Got his like weird modified Darce choke finish over Vicente Luque. Kevin Holland's looking really good at 170. I think 170 is a much better cut for him. 185 seemed to be a little much.
Yeah, I think Kevin Holland at welterweight is actually very, very, very skilled and very
Mhm.
dangerous. He takes a good punch even at middleweight from the middleweights. He
Yep.
has some solid wins at welterweight with a win over Joaquin Buckley.
Was that at 170?
Hmm.
Okay.
I believe so. I want to say,
Yeah.
but this performance was amazing by Kevin Holland. It's
Yeah.
vintage big mouth. You know what I'm saying? Talking shit.
Hmm.
Won't shut the fuck up, beating your ass the whole time. Like that's the Kevin Holland from like 2, 3 years ago when he was
Yeah.
fighting every other pay per view and you know getting really good performances. Um, he, you know, latching up to Anaconda on fucking
Hmm.
Vicente Luque when that's like the Anaconda and the Darce are like his main good things is
Yeah.
so sick. And you know, he was even doing really good on the striking. He lit up
Hmm.
Vicente Luque when he was going for a takedown. He beat the shit out of him while he was hopping on the single leg.
Yep.
And then he landed a really sick elbow that like
Yeah.
calls like a big mouse to
Oh
start going
yeah.
behind his ear.
Yep. That was nasty.
So Vicente Luque, he went in there ready to scrap, man, and I feel
Mhm.
like Kevin Holland was just a better fighter.
Yeah.
I still think Vicente Luque is fucking cool as shit for all of the finishes he has in the past, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, as of lately, it's just so hard to pick on him because
Yeah.
the game has evolved.
Yep. And it's one of those things that I think becomes more and more obvious over time as these guys kind of start to age in the division when you get this new group of folks coming up, or even the folks that are just able to kind of maintain the new technique and the new, methods. Um, you either kind of stay with the times or you start to become outdated. And I think this was unfortunately one of those cases.
Yeah, man. Another good. I'm gonna do a real crazy throwback, but it's somebody
Yeah.
that I always relate to Vicente Luque's striking style is Thomas Almeida
Mm,
from bantamweight. Very, very similar striking style. Lots of lead hooks, lots of really explosive like arcing punches,
yeah.
and then a very upright like Muay Thai stance, like
Yeah.
square hands up, and it got audited a lot quicker for Thomas Almeida
Hmm.
because he was in those lower weight class divisions like 145,
Yeah.
and I think he even fought Cody Garbrandt at 135 as well. But that those weight classes are a lot more skilled, and that you can't get away with that for that long down there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Working down the card a little bit, my favorite fight of the night, I think, or potentially one of them for sure. Joshua Van versus Bruno Silva. Joshua Van is the guy. Joshua Van is continuing to improve every fight, which is really awesome to see because he's already very skilled. Got the TKO in the third round on this one and really just was able to kind of display his boxing, I think, at a very high level here. I think you called this one as well, multiple knockdowns throughout the fight.
Feel like he's going to drop Bruno Silva multiple times. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but I know for sure he's going to drop him like at least 3 times. I feel like that's a good bet to make. Yeah,
But
it was just one of those fights where I just saw Joshua Van putting on like a masterclass performance.
yeah.
Um, Bruno Silva, like he's very, very good offensively.
Hmm.
If you do not move and you're not the best striker, there's not a lot coming back. Like Bruno Silva has a lot of really sick KO finishes
Yeah.
and a lot of sick submission finishes as well in the UFC. And but the people he's fighting, like they're not Joshua Van. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
He went in there, he boxed him up. He looked really good, boxing in combination, dropping him, hitting him with big shots. It's like he's ready for the top
Yep.
7 of the division, I'd say.
Easily.
Especially at that weight class that's pretty shallow. I want to see
Hmm.
him because of how active he's been and how entertaining all of his fights have been. I
Yeah.
want to see him fight like a Brandon Moreno. I want to
I
see
was
him
just
fight
thinking
somebody.
that.
I want to see him
Yep.
fight somebody like that. He likes to turn around and fight quickly, and I feel like a boxing match between him and Brandon Moreno would be pretty sick.
I think that would be a great fight. I think he's
Mhm.
ready for it. He's 14-2 at this point. He's been really active. I think he's had like 4 or 5 fights in the last 6 months or something like that. He's just
Mhm.
very active. He doesn't take a lot of damage, so his turnaround is really quick. He seems to stay in really great shape because he was able to just kind of maintain that pace the entire fight. Um, Definitely ready for the top. Speaking of ready for the top, Azamat Murzakanov just did it again, man. I don't get why this guy is not in the top 5, top 10 of light heavyweight. It's criminal. He's 15-0 now.
Yeah, dude, I saw he was about to fight Johnny Walker. That was the original fight on this card,
Yeah.
which answered a question when I was like, why do I keep seeing all these people talking about Johnny Walker on this card?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen him on there for a while. But
Hmm.
Bedtime MMA, who's in his bingo card, and then on the UFC's page where they play all of the finishes from the fighters competing on the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
um, Johnny Walker was on there. I was like, dude, who the fuck is he fighting? He was
Yeah.
supposed to fight Azamat, dude, the professional. That's crazy, dude. They want him dead, bro.
They
Johnny
really are
Walker
trying.
must have done something like behind the scenes to piss somebody off, dude, because they
Yeah.
want they want to kill that man.
Yeah.
Um, like that dude, Azamat can go in there and he can strike like fucking. I feel like he's like a light heavyweight JDM with how he strikes with all those hooks,
Yeah.
choosing to mix up the body strikes with the lead hooks up top.
Hmm.
Just amazing performance, and he was able to land some massive shots before
Yeah.
getting the finish, man. Really is fun to watch.
Hmm.
I want to see him go through the fucking top 10 of the division right now.
Yep.
If he was supposed to fight Johnny Walker, they were probably teeing him up for it, but something must have happened. But I feel like him versus Alexander Rakic would be a sick fight.
That's a great
I feel
fight.
like him versus
A Jailton Almeida, maybe.
Volkan Ozdemir. No, he's light heavyweight.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he's light heavyweight.
Yep.
So I feel like him versus Volkan Ozdemir, Alexander Rakic.
Mhm.
If they really hate Dominic Reyes, bro, they'll throw him up against Dominic Reyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. After that last win, I like it. Great
Hmm.
fight. Um, we'll be quick on this one. Waldo Cortez Acosta got it done again. Spivak looked fine. I think in the first round, I went into that fight a little nervous because Spivak looked aggressive. He looked accurate. He was looking really good. And then I think just as the fight went on, Spivak just kind of, I don't know, felt like he stopped throwing.
I felt like he was blocking all of Waldo Acosta's punches, and they were just counting them. I feel like
You
that's
think so?
honestly what the fuck happened, bro. Because
Yeah.
when I'm thinking about like I know I picked Sergey Spivak, and I
Mhm.
fucking hate Waldo Acosta.
That's fair.
What when I was watching this fight, I saw Sergey Spivak hurt him with the kicks.
Hmm.
I saw him landing takedowns and
Hmm.
implementing the grappling. I saw him landing the bigger strikes, and I saw Waldo punching the guard of
Yeah.
Sergey Spivak. That's
Yeah.
all I saw. Like I'm not saying Waldo didn't land at certain points,
Hmm.
but most of what I saw was him punching his forearms, and they were counting it on the strike counter.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And so the verdict scorecard gave it to Sergey Spivak, and all of the judges in the UFC, like he had 30-27 scorecard, bro.
That's crazy to me. I
And they
don't understand a 30-27 on that.
and I was like, I don't know how anybody can give Waldo the first round after Sergey's like he landed a head kick in that one, I think,
Yeah.
and some takedowns, and he was landing some big shots, and I think a big leg kick as well.
Hmm.
But I was like for sure that first round went to Sergey Spivak. All three
Yeah.
judges gave that shit to Waldo. And then the fucking third round, I felt like that was a complete toss up, and I was like, okay, that one could go either way, but I still
Yeah.
leaned Sergey.
Uh-huh.
All the judges gave that one except for one to fucking Sergey Spivak, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck are these guys watching, bro?"
That was a very weird fight. It was definitely one of the low points on the card for me, and I think we even said it was going
I
to
call
be a
that.
dud.
I called it. This is my opinion. Is going to be the dud of the card. I was like, I
Yeah.
will tell you right now, though, this is going to be the fucking low point of the card.
Yeah, that was the low point of the card, and it just, it obviously got much better from there, but I remember being pretty bored with this one. And honestly, the one beforehand, while it was a good performance from Andreas Gustafsson, I can't say that it was an exciting fight. Dude went in there low IQ fighting, just very Neanderthal of him. Um, but Chaos Williams had no response for it. Completely shut down, didn't really seem to have anything, just got kind of thrown around and
Smothered.
pushed on and smothered for 15 minutes.
Yeah, man, that was a very unfortunate performance from Chaos because
Yeah.
he definitely has the skill set and the power to win that fight.
Hmm.
But I just felt like he just didn't make the necessary adjustments. But at the same time, when you're fighting somebody that's a freak,
Yeah.
that's literally like nonstop running at you,
Yeah.
insane cardio. You can tell he's strong too by how he was just able to fucking muscle him around like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, dude, I feel like Chaos kind of got broken in there. I
Hmm.
feel like a good adjustment that Chaos could have made to get the KO finish would been to throw the elbows off the back foot instead
Hmm.
of he was trying to land the hooks and they were just too long. And he just needed that little extra, couple inches to fucking get the distance he needed to land some significant damage.
Yeah.
And the elbows would have completely made that very possible because he was landing the punches. They just didn't have a lot of stink on him because
Yeah.
he was so crowded um, by Gustafson. So great
Yeah.
performance by him. I know I picked against him, but to be honest, I hadn't watched his contender series fight,
Yeah.
and I just really thought that Chaos Williams would have like a better option to fucking deal with that sort of style.
And that was my fear with Chaos Williams and picking for him any now is
I
he
will
just
never pick him again. Yeah, this
no
is like
good
the last time I
good.
ever picked. Yeah, so this is.
Yep.
I wanted the unk to pull through on the former like alleged Nazi, you
No.
know, but with those
Unfortunately not.
suspect tattoos in the past.
They're real
But
questionable.
I wanted the unk to pull through, dude, and wear that pimp suit to the fucking press conference like he always
Hmm.
used to. But yeah, man, couldn't make it happen. He just got the shit beat out of him, got broken in there.
Yeah.
Gustafson's going to be a sick prospect to watch, especially in that division.
Definitely. And that's such a tough style to deal with where it seems like if you let him work at his pace, he will not tire out. He's going to be able to do that the entire 3 rounds. So it's going to be partly managing how do you deal with that pressure. And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how do you deal with the pressure? And then, how and how do you start to get him tired? And I think that's going to be an interesting problem to solve.
Knees. You throw some
Knees,
fucking knees and elbows. Knees and elbows, baby.
counter wrestling,
Hmm.
take him
Yeah,
down.
it's especially on those entries, bro. He was right there to be
Yeah,
hit. It's just Chaos was choosing the wrong strikes to throw, like when he was, right in front of him.
there.
Throw some knees, get a low blow in there, slow him down. You know what I'm saying?
Just one, just
Yeah, just
one.
one. You
You
get a
get
free one.
one. You get
Everyone gets a
one.
free one. So just throw the fucking knee to the junk real quick, slow him
Yeah,
down, get
yeah.
some space. Like once you land it and he drops a little bit, run to the other side of the octagon. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
Sprint.
yeah,
Let's reset. Let's
yeah.
reset.
So
I like it. Nice. Working down Ariana De Silva or Ariana Lipsky versus Wong Kong. Wong Kong getting it done by decision. I honestly thought it was going to come by leg kick. Great performance. Honestly, just looked really good. Ariane didn't have anything for her. Wong Kong knew not to engage in the grappling exchanges. After that first round when she dropped her with the leg kick, there was a little bit of a throw a couple ground and pound strikes, but for the most part, stay out of guard, stay off the ground. And I think that was definitely the right move.
yeah, can we stop changing fucking Wong Kong's name, please? Like
Yeah,
every single
please.
time she's fought, like it's a different name.
I'm here with the winner, Wong Tong. Wong, the Joker Tong.
The Joker, Wong Chong. 中国的女子散打冠军王聪。
The one and only, the electrifying the Joker, Wang Tong.
So I guess we're calling her Wong Kong now.
Yeah.
She did great, man. She's one of my favorite fighters
Yeah.
ever since her debut, even in that loss. But she's very skilled when it comes to striking, just levels above everybody else.
Yeah.
And she really just picked her apart. Ariane came in 7 pounds overweight, and she knew that her advantages were going to be in the grappling, where she was be able to use that weight a little bit more. So
Yeah.
Wong just completely like nullified that by not engaging in it, especially when she was dropping her with those leg kicks.
Mhm.
And she was also working like a really nice rear hook to the body. I just like how she works low to high, when it comes to like her, like where she's choosing to attack.
Yes.
Low kicks, body kicks. Then she starts throwing like the big cross. Like she has threatening strikes that will hit anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She can do massive damage with her leg kicks. She
Yeah.
can do really nasty body kicks and strikes to your body with the hands. And then she obviously has KO punches
Yeah.
that we've seen in the hands as well. And it's all super clean, technical. And she's just super aggressive too, which it could be a downfall. One of the people that I'll relate that to would be like Cody Garbrandt. It's
Yeah.
like he's so successful when he's like swarming you, but it's like in those swarms where he just knows he can fucking get you. He leaves some holes to be kind of caught there, and Wang Kong does have a little bit of that in him.
Yep.
In her, but at the same time, I feel like you kind of need that to have that sort of striking style. Like Conor McGregor has that too. It's like once he's in there, and he's like really piecing you up, he's gonna, kind of leave a little bit of action there to be intercepted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of part of that style where you're just going to have to be opened up for that. For sure.
And I think that really it's primarily strikers that have that, because it's like they trust their striking and they know how good they are at the striking. They just know that they have to just touch your face with their hands,
Yep.
and it's going to change everything, the momentum. And so rather than, opting to be defensive in certain places, they're over there trying to do damage. And I prefer my fighters to be like that, but it could just leave you susceptible to getting clipped.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you start to, and especially high level strikers, you see this where, there's always that race to the finish, right? Who's going to hit first? And, a lot of those situations where you're throwing counters at the same time. And those strikers tend to trust that they're going to be the faster one and they're going to beat you in that race. And so they are a little bit more comfortable with that space because they know that I'm going to be the first one anyway, so it doesn't ultimately matter.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really like that Wong does too is she'll go first, let you counter, and then come back in combination. I think that is so sick to
Yeah.
watch. It happened a couple times in this fight, but she just once she attacks you and like kind of gets that counter out of you.
Yeah.
I really like watching her like get out of the way of the counter, come back in, and she's just in the perfect place to throw a little combination.
Yeah. She's got a really high fight IQ too, just from the standpoint of like I was watching this fight, and obviously the first 2 rounds, the leg kick was probably the most significant strikes that she was throwing as far as getting reactions, getting damage. Obviously got a knockdown in both rounds with it. And then Lipsky or Da Silva ended up switching to southpaw in the 3rd round to mitigate taking more of those leg kicks. And Kong just adjusted. She instead just started throwing that jab more because the face was closer, because now they're in open stance. The moment that Lipsky would switch into orthodox again, she would catch her with a low kick and force her back into southpaw. And it started to kind of change the way that Ariane was fighting because she wasn't able to be comfortable in southpaw. And now she was dealing with a striker that's in their position, and now you're in a foreign stance. And it really just put her at a disadvantage. And she kind of forced that change. And then adapted her own fighting style to take advantage of the things that were now available that weren't before.
Yeah, dude.
Just really awesome to see.
One of my favorite prospects at that weight class.
Yeah.
She kind of got slowed down a little bit when she got finished, but I do feel like she's just going to keep moving up the division.
Yeah.
She called out Jessica Andrade, which is a
Love that.
sick call out, and
Love
I think
that.
she beats up Jessica Andrade pretty bad.
I think so too.
I think she moves up to the top of the division and kind of makes quick work of people like Macy Barber. I see people, all of those like fighters that are just like not the best, that just kind of mid everywhere. I feel like Wang Kong can just run through them.
Yeah, I think so too. Speaking of getting run through, Chu Sang Yu, the Korean Zombie Junior. I mean, that was performance of the night, KO of the night, whatever you want to say. Definitely potential contender for KO of the year.
Yeah.
Just incredible. I mean, a great shot, perfectly timed. Just a little tap on the chin, and Jekka was,
Check hook, dude.
Face plant.
Yeah, man. One of the best check hooks probably in the history of the UFC, honestly.
Yeah.
And one of the little things that he did here is, so obviously Jekka was over swinging with his right hand.
Yeah.
And Zombie Jr., like when he was getting out of the way out of that and dropping the hook to like come back and hit him with it, he waited just like a small half second, because if he would have threw the counter immediately after he threw the cross, it would have hit his shoulder.
Yeah.
But he had the eyes on it. You can see that his eyes never blink or anything like that. He knew he was safe. And his eyes never blink, and you see him wait for him to drop his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then he drops the left hook in and flatline KOs him. Amazing. You can tell he fucking is a savant when it comes to striking.
Yeah.
He almost hit him with the wheel kick KO in the first seconds of the fight. Like he was like this close to hitting that wheel kick.
Yeah.
Jekka had no reaction to it.
Yeah.
So it was called pretty quickly in our predictions that with the loss to Angel Jabli, this mystery non-unlocked fighter was probably going to be really cool.
Yeah.
A Korean mystery fighter, dude, like I'll take that over somebody that's lost to Angel Jabli from Indonesia, bro. Like I'm sorry.
Easy.
Yeah, and it turned out that's going to be one of our sickest prospects. He's a protege of Korean Zombie. He got the blessing to walk out to fucking Zombie by the Cranberries.
I love it.
And then he goes out there and puts on a performance like that. Like, how are you not like on the Zombie Junior train,
Absolutely.
And that is a very magical moment to see like someone's like little protege, like from a legend like that coming through. Like that's sick.
No, great fight. Definitely one of the best moments of the night, and it happened really early on. So that was really cool to see. Last fight I want to talk about, Quillan Salkild got the win over at Yanal Ashmouz. Maybe not the performance that I expected from Quillan. Obviously, I know him a little bit more for his striking. He's had some good success with his hands. Has the ability to wrestle, it seems, as well, especially if he's in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of good things from Quillan. I know I picked against him. And my reasoning started showing itself like towards the 3rd round when he wasn't able to, spam takedowns as much. Yanal was the fresher fighter coming into the 3rd. He was landing those combination strikes, which I brought up in the predictions video.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Quillan did the right things by winning the 1st round and implementing a very good grappling performance. He wasn't landing all the takedowns, but he was just kind of just shooting, to kind of win the rounds.
Yeah.
And playing very defensive in the last like 2 second and 3rd rounds. So I feel like he has some very good skill sets because he can be dangerous on the feet, but he can also keep himself safe by, implementing grappling as well. Just
Yeah.
a great, well-rounded fighter. If you're super stoked for this prospect, it's not the performance I wanted to see from Quillen.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a lot more, aggression and not so much just like kind of spamming takedowns.
Yeah.
But Yanalish Muz has some serious power. He's very dangerous, and I thought it was a great fight.
Yeah, overall, really, really great card. I think, top to bottom for the most part was very entertaining. Glad to see that the UFC's kind of back on the right train. UFC Atlanta coming up this next weekend with Joaquin Buckley versus Usman. That's going to be a great fucking fight, and I think we're going to do predictions for that pretty soon here as well. But UFC 316, we get to see the continued rise of the legendary Merab, and we'll see what's next for women's bantamweight. But until then, we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.
What fighter has the highest fight IQ?
I don't think there's nobody in the game that has the fight IQ that I have.
Off the charts.
His IQ
The
is
highest
insane.
fight IQ maybe ever.
This guy hits hard. He's tough. He's this, he's that. And this guy has a dream. But my fight IQ will win this fight.